Hello everybody, we're Andrew and Kathy, and we were pet sitters in England and in New Zealand as well. And we had some amazing experiences which we'd like to share with you, and also give you some ideas of what to expect for house and pet sitting if you are a house sitter or you're a homeowner going away on holiday and inviting people into your home.
We had 2 weeks in London, didn't we?
Yes.
With Burrows and Bees, very London names.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
They were Oriental short hair.
Yeah, they were just gorgeous. And we had to exercise them every day because they were housebound. So we had a fishing rod, and they had this amazing wall climbing apparatus that they climbed up, and yeah, it was pretty cool. And it was really neat to stay in London and enjoy 2 weeks there. So that was a really amazing house sitting experience, wasn't it?
Went on the London buses, didn't we, and did the whole touristy thing while we were there. So,
yeah, we did.
Yeah, at least with cats, that's a thing to think about. With cats, you can leave them at home. Once you've looked after them, they're going to sleep all day. You go out in the day and enjoy your stay there.
Exactly. Now, up in Manchester, we looked after a couple of Staffordshire Bull Terrier dogs, which initially we were a little bit apprehensive about, but they turned out to be absolutely wonderful, and we had some wonderful walking experience in the Manchester countryside with them. Inca and Bubba, here's some pictures of them. Yeah. They were just gorgeous, yeah. We thoroughly enjoyed it, and the house we stayed at was a really old cottage on an old Roman road. Now that was quintessential English living, and for travellers that was just something else.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Got to know the neighbours as well, got invited to the Green for a wine tasting. Which was wonderful. I mean, the dogs were literally over the road. They were happy. They were quite welcoming when we'd come home, but they would be able to be left for a few hours as well. But if we went out, they jumped in the back of the car too. And
we took them down the reservoir. We did some lovely walks around the countryside. We just took the dogs along. And England's so cool with dogs, so you can even take them to the local pub, and they sit down at your feet while you're having an ale. In Norfolk, we stayed in a lovely quintessential English cottage as well, and we looked after Lily and Rowan. Now, Lily was the friendliest cat in the world. We named her Lily the Licker because she liked to lick everything, including the dew off the windows in the morning, which was quite funny. And she was the friendliest, loveliest cat. She was Burmese, wasn't she?
Yes, yeah. You'd pick her up and she would just gently slide sideways, so you'd end up holding her like a baby, and she was just absolutely adorable. Needed lots of attention, which was nice. As you're travelling, it's nice to have that homely, friendly welcome when you get home.
When we came back to New Zealand, there's a town called Te Puke, and we looked after Onyx, and he had to be the cutest little dog in the world. He was just lovely, and we looked after a house there for just over 2 weeks. Yeah. So why do people do pet sitting, Kathy?
Well, for us, it was a way of finishing off our holiday, extending our holiday, so staying and travelling for free. We experienced living the local lifestyle. We got to live in people's houses and experience what they did day to day, got to know their neighbours.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And not to mention, of course, the relationships with the animals as well.
Exactly.
Yeah. And for the homeowner, really it's security, knowing that somebody's living in your home and looking after it, someone you can trust. And also someone to look after the animals so that you don't have to put them into expensive holiday for pets facilities, which can be quite pricey. And sometimes a lot of animals just don't like it, so they like to be in their own home. So it's a way of leaving your pets and animals where they are.
And a good way to build up that trust is to meet with the family prior to them going away. We went sometimes a month before to meet the family and meet the pets, see if we would interact with them if we wanted to stay and look after the animals.
Yes.
And for the owners to be feeling confident and trust us as well.
So how did we go about doing this?
Well, initially it was on websites, very good website in the UK. It was Pet Sitters UK. It cost £15 for the whole year, so that's really affordable. You put a profile up, you basically sell yourself, put an ad up, and people contact you, and then you liaise with them, talk with them, and go from there. Absolutely. And of course there's word of mouth and social media as well, which is a really good way. So you put up a Facebook page, and then you tell all your friends that you're doing it and that you're trustworthy, and then they share your profile, and that's how you can get some gigs. Yeah. Definitely good references. You get references from your friends with social media. So that's very important. They need to know who you are and that you are real. You're not going to abandon their animals or their homes while they're away.
Absolutely, they need to be able to trust you. And police checks are a good thing too. Sometimes they are mandatory, but most of the times they are not. You can build a rapport with people on Skype and get to know people, even by visiting them a month before, and having a short interview is a good idea as well, if you can do that. But if you can't, then prior experiences and references is definitely the way to go.
And we found we always arrived the day before they left and had at least one evening with the family and the pets, just so that we could really get to know their routines. It's good to have that written down, but it's also good to experience what the animal's routine is and get to know them.
So as far as costs are concerned, we kind of feel that it shouldn't cost anything. It should be a barter. Basically, you're looking after people's houses, providing a service for them, and they are providing a travel experience for you. But as far as like giving them money for things, we don't really think that's necessary. It's probably a good idea that it doesn't become a hire and reward scenario, because that could open up a can of worms when it comes to liability and things like that as well. So if you're just doing it as a barter system, that seems to be the way to go.
So cost for you to get there, your own travel and your own food. Generally, a lot of times our families left us with food, left us with gifts, said help yourself to anything in the pantry. There was all the essentials, there was the soaps and the cleaning products and that. It's up to you. Depends how long you stay. Sometimes we had a 7-week stay, so we would replace things that we used.
Sometimes there's basic supplies and consumable items that you might need to provide, such as firewood. We bought firewood on a couple of occasions, particularly over our winter stay up in Norfolk. And we were going to use a lot of firewood, so we ordered a load of firewood, which is a good thing. So as far as for the homeowner is concerned, it's just your general day-to-day fixed operating expenses of your home. Your gas and your electricity still flows. Obviously your council taxes are still paid and your rates are still paid. So basically your house doesn't stop, and even if you left it empty, 9 times out of 10 you'd still have most of those costs. Okay, what do we suggest is helpful?
Definitely a detailed list of instructions, because even though you will talk to them and have this explained to you, it's good to refer back. Hard to remember everything.
Yeah, it is. So yeah, leave a list, a good list, and together with contact details as well. For example, we had an incident where the hot water cylinder failed, so we needed to be able to get in touch with the homeowner to say, what do we do? And he said, call a tradesman around and get it fixed. So simple as that. Also, vets, emergency contact numbers, and family members that we can get in touch with if we need to. Just common sense stuff, really. Yeah.
Definitely.
That's all very, very helpful. Also pet instructions as well, when they are fed, how they like to be fed, what sort of treats they get, and of course exercise regimes as well. And that's a good idea to stick to those exercise regimes. Make sure you get out there with the dogs and walk them every day. Otherwise they'll drive you crazy, won't they? Because animals like to get out and about and go for walkies. And that's thoroughly part of the enjoyable part of it as well.
Exactly, yes, you get to walk in these lovely countries, so especially England, got to enjoy their local walks.
Yeah,
but
and the public walkways.
The routine is important to have that written down to understand what they're used to, what time they like to get up. Sometimes that might not be what you want to get up, but it's good to know when they're going to be scratching on the door or barking or whichever.
And sometimes some of the habits of the animals as well. And how do the animals behave when their owners go away? Well, that's actually quite interesting too, because they do miss their owners, and it's so obvious.
Definitely.
Particularly after about 3 or 4 days, they start to
they pine.
They pine.
They miss you.
Do.
They will miss you. So we have to understand that and spend a bit more time with them on those times, and then they come right. And it is also the owners will miss their pets. It's quite good to have the social media connection, so I would take photos and send them a photo by messenger or something like that, just to reassure them that they're still alive and well.
They're
and
still
happy.
alive and happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a good thing when you're away on holiday, knowing that your pets are being looked after, and it's reassuring to see some evidence of that, isn't it? Another thing that is good to leave is enough supplies for the duration, so that your pet sitters don't run out of food for your pets and animals. So what's good practice for a house sitter, Kathy?
Well, treat the house as if it's your own. That's very important. You're going to leave the house as you found it. You will live as normal, but then especially the day before, have a good working bee, have a good clean up, leave everything nice and ready. The family's coming back from holiday, they'll be tired, they want to walk in and have a few supplies.
Yeah, bread and milk in the
yeah.
fridge and that, so make sure you leave them with the basics. And the house is nice and clean.
Yes.
Run the vacuum cleaner around,
That's it.
clean the bathrooms, and make sure everything's nice.
Empty the rubbish bins, make sure
Yeah.
you know the rubbish routines and that sort of thing as
Yes,
well, so
yes.
everything's nice and clean and fresh when they come home. And generally we've been thanked that that it is left that way, and that they comment that their pets are looking very healthy and a little bit overweight. But no, one thing to do is don't overfeed them, stick to the routines. And
Yeah. Also, another good thing to do, Kathy, is not to hang around too long after they return, after the homeowners return.
Definitely.
Why is that?
Well, they'll be tired. You know, it's good to you often offer, Andrew often offers to pick them up at the airport if they need that.
Yes.
It's always good. And then a cup of coffee and a bit of a catch up and a debrief, really. But then leave them to it. They'll be ready to unpack their bags, settle back in, and enjoy their pets because they've missed them and they want,
Yes.
they want to spend that time with them.
Absolutely. So, Kathy, what was your highlights of our pet sitting experience and house sitting experience in England?
In England, I think my favourite one was probably our London experience. That was what I went there for, to enjoy London. And having city cats was really enjoyable, and they were a little bit quirky, a little bit different, very adorable. So I did enjoy my London stay.
And for me, it was definitely the Staffy Bull Terriers in Manchester with Bubba and Inca. And the 3 cats as well, bearing in mind we had 3 cats there too.
That's right.
But the animals just all had their own personalities, and it was just so much fun. And it was such a beautiful rural outlook in a rural place. We had horses over the back fence. It was just absolutely adorable. And our stone cottage was 300 years old, renovated, and it was just absolutely lovely. So yeah, it's a wonderful way of travelling and enjoying the world with house and pet sitting. Get a nice reference from your house owners, and you'll be doing it again and again.
We did enjoy a year, 6 months in the UK and 6 months since we've been home. So a year of living pretty cheaply, really.
Yeah, it has been.
Enjoyable.
It's amazing just how much less you spend when you're living in other people's homes. I know it sounds like you're using them, but really it's of mutual benefit, absolutely.